This is a second and third stimulus check update. There's a new timeline when it comes to receiving the third stimulus check. Chuck Schumer saying the process of reconciliation could start as early as next week. And if you receive the second stimulus check, you may not receive the third stimulus check because of some new restrictions that may be included. Democrats introduced a new standalone bill to raise the minimum wage to $15 per hour, but it's not what you think. Then I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments regarding the second stimulus check. I hope you're having a great day so far. Quick reminder, I'm giving out $200 checks to my subscribers, and I'll have details to that down in the description below. So if you receive the second and third stimulus check, you may not receive the $1,400 stimulus check because of some new restrictions going on. Basically, the Republicans have said that there is too broad of a group of people receiving these stimulus checks, and they want it to be more targeted. So President Biden said that he's willing to adjust the income thresholds so that less people receive these stimulus checks and people who are more in need. This also goes along with a study that just came out on the Washington Post saying that cutting off stimulus checks to Americans earning over $75,000 could be wise. Basically saying people who earn less than $75,000 spent their stimulus checks a lot sooner, within 2 weeks, because they have a lot more urgent bills. Compared to people who have more money, they save the stimulus check and it doesn't really help out the economy too much. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Should there be income thresholds for the third stimulus check? How much should it be? Should it be higher? Should it be lower? I'm really curious what you think about that down in the comments below. Before we get to the stimulus check news, the Democrats just introduced $15 minimum wage standalone bill. So this is going to increase the minimum wage to $15 per hour in the Raise the Wage Act, but it's not right away. It's going to be by 2025. Originally, this was in the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. Now it's a standalone bill, and it's not going to be overnight, which is kind of what I thought. I thought when they introduced it in the bill, in the bigger stimulus package, it was going to be overnight, you get $15 per hour. But it's going to be, I guess, around over the next 4 years, $2 per hour per year, until 2025, where it's $15 an hour. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Is this a letdown? Is this a smart idea? This way it helps out smaller businesses, or should it be raised immediately overnight? I just want to point out, I think this is like a third letdown by President Biden. Originally, President Biden said if he's elected, there's going to be $2,000 stimulus checks. Now it's a $1,400 plus the $600 stimulus check, so it's totaling $2,000. Then he said if he's elected, stimulus checks and package is going to be passed immediately. Yesterday, I played a clip saying he can't guarantee anything. It looks like we're slowed down with negotiations again. And now the minimum wage being raised to $15 an hour, it's by 2025. So let me know down in the comments below, am I being too harsh with this criticism, or are these justified? Is this okay the way things are going right now? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. This minimum wage standalone bill pretty much came from the Republicans and Susan Collins saying that the minimum wage increase should be separate from the COVID-19 relief package because it has nothing to do with COVID relief, and that's why they wanted it separate. And that was one of the biggest criticisms when it came to the stimulus package. Also, Republicans still have a lot of criticism to the $1.9 trillion stimulus package, saying it's a non-starter. So Republican Senator Angus King weighs in on why he thinks it's not the best idea to have this stimulus package with stimulus checks. Here's that clip right now.
Will we be able to do the whole package? I don't know. I mean, that's going to take a lot of, pushing back and forth. And I think you're right, the Republicans are somewhat reluctant at this point. But I think, as I say, there's consensus on several of the points, and I think we will come out with a bipartisan package. I don't think it'll be everything the president wants, and it may not be everything all of us want. But that's,
So
Mick
what would you
Jagger
be
said,
willing
you
to
don't always get what
negotiate
you
on?
want.
That's right. So on that point, what would you be willing to negotiate on, compromise on?
Well, I have a life principle, Pamela, and that is I don't negotiate on television.
That's too bad, because we would love for you to make some news here, but I tried.
I'm sure you would, and that's a nice try. It's your job to answer that question, ask that question, and my job not to answer it.
Senator King not saying what it is that he doesn't like about the package, but his fellow Republicans have said the minimum wage, state and local aid, as well as the broad stimulus checks, and they just wanted it targeted. Moving on, Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer have had some pretty bad power struggles over the last few days regarding the Senate. Chuck Schumer saying that Mitch McConnell is the minority leader now and that Chuck Schumer is in charge. And it seems that Mitch McConnell has backed down when it comes to the fight over the filibuster. So originally Mitch McConnell was trying to take charge, and then now he's finally backing down to Chuck Schumer, as well as backing down to the idea of the filibuster removal. So Democrats have claimed that this is a win and this could be a path to move forward faster with the stimulus checks. Chuck Schumer also said that the Senate could pave way for reconciliation COVID relief next week. So reconciliation basically means that the Senate just needs a majority vote, which is just 51 votes in the Senate. But that could be a little harder because there are 2 Democrats so far that are saying that they are not for the current stimulus package. So even if they remove the filibuster, they have the reconciliation, that means that these 2 Democrats could completely derail the whole stimulus package. Here's Chuck Schumer talking about the stimulus package on the Senate floor yesterday.
In addition to the confirmation of critical cabinet nominees, the Senate will soon move forward with legislation to address the twin crises facing our country: the public health crisis and the economic crisis. In December, Congress took the important step of passing interim emergency relief to the country, but we left the job unfinished. I understand that recent opposition from the political right to more spending has increased in volume now that there's a Democrat in the White House. But the pandemic doesn't particularly care that there's been a change in the administration. The needs of our country are still great, and the urgency to act is clearer than ever. So the Senate is going to press forward on another COVID relief bill. We want to work with our Republican colleagues to advance this legislation in a bipartisan way. But the work must move forward, preferably with our Republican colleagues, but without them if we must. We are still in the midst of a once-in-a-century crisis that has reshaped our economy and altered nearly every aspect of American life. Americans are still getting sick. Americans are still dying. Americans are still losing their jobs. We must not suffer timidity or delay. There is great urgency to continue the work of COVID relief, and that's exactly what the Senate will do.
There seems to be a fork in the road when it comes to passing the next stimulus package. It's either we go right and there's bipartisan support, but it could take weeks and months, as we've seen with the last stimulus package, or we go left and have the reconciliation process and just pass it as soon as possible and people get their stimulus checks as soon as possible. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments below. I think the best solution is have the stimulus checks as a standalone bill. If they remove the minimum wage as a standalone bill, why can't they have these stimulus checks as a standalone bill as well? Here is Democrat John Yarmuth talking about the reconciliation process. He's one of the people in charge and how soon it can be done.
Joining me right now is the chairman of the House Budget Committee, Democratic Congressman John Yarmuth. Thanks for coming in. Many people know, but just so everybody knows, you and your committee are central to the path forward here. If Democrats pull the plug on bipartisan talks, it's your committee that must kickstart the alternative path known as reconciliation. How long are you willing to hold out for bipartisan talks?
Well, Kate, good to be with you. We don't have to wait at all. As a matter of fact, we could look at this as kind of a parallel track. We are prepared to go to the floor as early as next week with a reconciliation resolution. And the committees that are involved are all working this week. We'll be ready to go. Those negotiations that are happening now can continue. We can pass our budget reconciliation instructions and get them over to the Senate. And then if they reach an agreement, which would be great, we'd all prefer a bipartisan agreement, then we can just withdraw those reconciliation instructions and use that process for something else down the road. But we're going to move ahead.
But do you think that helps or hurts the kind of spirit of bipartisan negotiation if you're saying this is sitting in the background, boys?
Well, we're not really worried about which path we take. What we're worried about is the suffering of the American people right now and the urgent need to get help getting the vaccine distributed and put into hundreds of millions of American arms. We can't get this money out overnight. And some of the provisions, for instance, the extending the unemployment insurance supplement, that expires in mid-March. So we can't wait around for negotiations very long because we have to get help out urgently.
Moving on, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Mary Pascal Lovins asks, do you think that parts of the stimulus package will pass without the whole stimulus package? I think that would be the smart move, at least with stimulus checks. This way they could just take months, figure out what's best for the country. They could have bipartisan support, but just give the people stimulus checks so we could pay the rent, food, utilities, car bills, and feed families. I think that is the #1 priority, so we don't know yet. Tracy Schwerdfiger asks, is there any mortgage help in Texas? Hi, Belly, you're so smart. I'll tell Belly you said that. But for mortgage help in Texas, so we have the rental relief program, which is going out probably any day now. So subscribe to the channel if you want to know how you could apply for rent relief, mortgage relief. So far, you would have to look up in your own state, county, city, and town to see if there's any programs. But mortgage relief, there's not as much help compared to rent relief. Next question. Karen Nito asks, is my adult dependent eligible for any stimulus? With the third stimulus check, it seems that adult dependents will receive a third $1,400 stimulus check. That might change in the future, but that's the case as of now. Tony Fenner asks, if I owe child support, will they send the $1,400? I received my $600. So with the second stimulus check, people who owed child support did receive that $600 stimulus check. We don't know the details yet if they're going to keep that with the third $1,400 stimulus check, but I'll keep you updated as soon as I find out. Sean Steelman asks, I got the first stimulus check, no problem, but didn't receive the second. I'm under the income threshold. Only reason I could think of for not getting it would be from not filing taxes last year. Would this disqualify me? Thanks. No, this would not disqualify you. If you didn't file your taxes last year, pretty much a lot of people didn't file their taxes. Or actually, I guess if you're talking about 2019, regardless, if you didn't file your taxes ever and you received your first stimulus check, you will receive your second $600 stimulus check. There could be delays. Check the Get My Payment tool. If it's giving you a date of January 6th, which is what a lot of people have gotten, that it's going to be mailed out, it could take up until February before you receive it, because they're saying it could be 3 to 4 weeks until you receive that second stimulus check, and it could be a debit card. So keep an eye out for that. That is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To brighten your day a bit, here is my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Belle. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you the one thing you should do. Remember when you were a kid, you always used your imagination in your mind. That's why it's called imagination. Imagining what you're thinking about. And remember that when you were a kid, you use your imagination for like anything, like movies. You watched movies. You imaginate yourself with it. You may sometimes when you're watching cool movies, use your imagination to do the same thing if you want. And also, can I tell you something? I watched a movie and now I'm all about it. And now I'm a Ghostbuster. Like this one, you shoot out light and it makes the ghost disappear. And this one, you tap it like this, and it makes you disappear, make the ghost disappear. So that's all I wanted to tell you. Bye.
And I wanted to let you know that there's just 2 days left if you wanted to qualify to win the $200 checks that I'm giving my subscribers. I have details to that down in the description below. Just hit the Show More tab below the video and you'll see exactly what you could do to qualify to win the $200 checks. And if you want to learn how you could manifest things in your life and turn your thoughts into things, I recommend clicking this video over here. It's on my Wise Vibes channel of how you can manifest things into your life that you desire. So click that video right now, take a break from the negative news, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.